This episode of Against the Odds is brought to you by Card Kingdom. To pick up the deck and support the show, follow the link in the description box down below. Hello everyone, it's Seth. Probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Against the Odds. So last week, we had our first All-Ravnica Allegiance Against the Odds poll, and in the end, it was the memeiest of meme cards, Persistent Petitioners, that came out on top. So today, we are heading to Standard to play a deck that has a ton of Persistent Petitioners, 20 copies of Petitioners, hopefully going to be able to mill our opponent out by getting a bunch on the battlefield at once. And I gotta say, this was a tough one. I played basically every build of Persistent Petitioners imaginable. I tried like 10 or 50 different decks, different colors, different styles, arcane adaptions, no arcane adaptions, many Petitioners, less Petitioners, anything you could think of, and I swear I lost so many games in a row. So once I finally won a game, I was like, all right, this is it. We got the build. This is our Persistent Petitioners build. Let's go see how it goes. So we will see. We will see how this actually works. Hopefully we actually get the persistent kill. It might require some persistence, but we're going to stick to it until we eventually beat someone with Persistent Petitioners. Anyway, a quick reminder before we break down Petitioners for Standard. If you enjoy this deck, and you enjoy Against the Odds in general, it would be amazing of you if you could take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So let's talk some Petitioners, starting with Persistent Petitioners itself. 20 copies in the deck. Basically, it's a 2-mana 1/3 that you can pay 1, tap it to mill a card. The big payoff, though, is if you get 4 of them, well, actually advisors, but there's only one other advisor in Standard, which is Tisa, and doesn't really fit the style of the deck at all. So if we get 4 Persistent Petitioners on the battlefield, we can tap them and mill someone for 12, and as you can see by the 20 Persistent Petitioners in our deck, you can play any number of Petitioners. So this is what our deck is based around. The idea here is we get at least 4 Petitioners on the battlefield, tap them, mill our opponent, untap, tap them, mill our opponent, and hopefully just mill our opponent out really quickly over the course of like 2 or 3 turns. So that's plan A, plan B, plan C of the deck. We do have a way to cheat a little bit. Even though we only, quote unquote, have 20 actual Persistent Petitioners, we also have Quasi-Duplicate, which is kinda 2 Petitioners in 1 card, since we can cast it to copy a Petitioner, and then we can jumpstart it to copy a Petitioner again. So it's a way we can up our Petitioner count and get 2 for the price of 1 by discarding like a useless land or something like that. So basically, that gets us from 20 Petitioners up to like 28 Petitioners, but it only requires 4 slots in our deck, which gives us a little bit more room for other stuff. Our backup plan is Drowned Secrets. And Drowned Secrets, it does work pretty well with Persistent Petitioners, because if we can play it on turn 2, every Petitioner that we cast, it's coming with a kicker of mill our opponent for 2. And one of the challenges of Persistent Petitioners is, and this is the same with any mill deck, it's very easy to have games where you almost mill your opponent out. You get them down to like 8 cards in your library, 10 cards in their library, and then they manage to kill you. And the challenge of mill is it's so all or nothing. Until you get your opponent to 0 cards in their library, all of your work doesn't really do anything. So getting them to 8 cards, that doesn't do anything compared to your opponent having 40 cards in their deck. Drowned Secrets is a good way to get those last few cards. It decreases the number of Persistent Petitioner activations we need. Instead of needing to tap 4 Petitioners 4 times, with Drowned Secrets, we can often get it down to 3 times. If we have multiple Drowned Secrets, even 2 times. So it does help speed up the process. Our other mill piece is Wall of Lost Thoughts, which is pretty good with the rest of our deck. It doesn't interact with Petitioners in specific, apart from giving us extra mill like we were talking about with Drowned Secrets, but it's a blue card, so it triggers Drowned Secrets, and it is pretty sweet with Quasi-Duplicate. If we get to that position where we're just a couple of cards short of milling our opponent, we don't have all 4 Petitioners, Quasi-Duplicating a wall and then jumpstarting it, that's a way we can mill another 4 or 8 cards, and even more with Drowned Secrets out. So it's another way that we can get those last few cards out of our opponent's library carry and actually win the game. So that's our mill plan. Otherwise, we have a couple of cards in the deck. Persistent Petitioners does not leave much room left over for utility spells. So we have 4 Deputy of Detention, which is just a catch-all. Something like Ixalan's Binding on Persistent Petitioners really ruins our day. Plus, Deputy can get a Planeswalker, a creature, a bunch of tokens, whatever we got to deal with. And then Thought Collapse gives us a counter spell that also helps with our mill plan. Milling 3, it's not a ton, but it is something, and it helps avoid those games where we wind up just a tiny bit short of milling our opponent out. So that's the deck. Petitioners as much as possible, some extra mill, a little bit of defense. Mana base wise, we got a bunch of shock lands, we got a bunch of check lands, some basic lands. You're probably wondering, why the black mana? I didn't see any black cards in your deck, and the answer here is Unmoored Ego. And Unmoored Ego, it's basically just a necessary evil to the point where we're splashing black specifically for it, because our deck will never, ever, ever beat a Nexus of Fate if we don't have Unmoored Ego to exile it, because our opponent can just keep casting it and shuffles back in. It really makes milling out an opponent basically impossible. So this is our answer to Nexus of Fate in specific. Can also be okay in other matchups. Then for creature decks, we get some sweepers. Settle the Wreckage, Slaughter the Strong, pretty sweet. We can keep exactly 4 Petitioners, while our opponent hopefully going to lose pretty much everything. Ixalan's Binding, another good answer to our opponent's Ixalan's Binding, which is something we are worried about. Then we get some life gain. Absorb, pretty sweet. The life gain is helpful, plus it can come in control matchups. Shield Mare to gain life against red decks. Invoke the Divine, blowing up artifacts and enchantments, gaining us life. Unbreakable Formation is a way to save our Petitioners from sweepers. One of the challenges of this deck is keeping 4 Petitioners on the battlefield. A savvy opponent will know that Petitioners, much like mill in general, they don't do anything until you get all 4 of them. So our opponent can let us have 2, maybe even let us have 3, but then when we try to play the 4th one, that's when they can just start killing our Petitioners and make sure we never get to the 4th one and get to start doing that mass milling. Unbreakable Formation, a little bit of protection from that. Then Immortal Sun, just removal for Planeswalkers essentially, and that is Petitioners for Standard, and that's our Against the Odds deck for this week. So I will tell you, I don't know how good this deck's going to be, but I promise that we will be persistent until we finally win with the deck. I don't know how many games it's going to take us. It might be 1, it might be 100, but we will get there sooner or later, because that's what persistent petitioning is all about. You just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, and sooner or later you get that opponent that mulls to 4 or accidentally disconnects or whatever, and then you get the persistent win, and that persistence pays off. So that's our plan for this week. Persistence, persistence, persistence. We'll see how it works. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy our gameplay, and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap-up. Alright, Against the Odds time. We are petitioning in Standard, Persistent Petitioners, and I mean, this hand is a land away from having 4 Petitioners. That's kinda plan A. 4 Petitioners, cross our fingers. Stomping Rioum, stepped. We wouldn't mind just drawing lands. Petitioner. Alright, well, Persistent Petitioner, pass the turn. Come on, land. Our dream is land, and then we can quasi-duplicate into double Petitioner and start the milling. Opponent. Island. Passes. Well, okay, play Petitioner. Get in with Petitioner. Well, the dream didn't come true, but we can still go on the slow Petitioner plan. Opponent. Radical idea. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, this is the Wilderness Reclamation deck, I believe. Radical idea. Come on, no land. No land. Opponent finds a land. Passes. Alright, well, play Petitioner. I think we're in a bit of trouble. Our opponent can play Wilderness Reclamation, and once they play Wilderness Reclamation, winning becomes pretty easy. Get in with Petitioners. Hit our opponent. I mean, we get to get down our Petitioners potentially next turn. But if our opponent has Reclamation, milling is not going to save us. Mountain. And there it is. Wilderness Reclamation. And I'm pretty sure that equals game. We really needed a land last turn to leave up a counterspell for Reclamation. I'll play a Petitioner. Do we actually get to mill? That would be sweet. No. Shocks. And shocks. Yep. Well, Watery Grave untapped. Pass the turn. Well, now we're just hoping that the deck that has infinite card draw has nothing. Doesn't seem like a great hope. Opponent. Blink of an eye on Petitioner. Untaps. Primal Amulet. Untaps. Well, mill our opponent. Haha. Gotcha. Well, it was an expansion explosion. That's not a bad one to mill. Okay. Now this amulet's gonna flip, and we're gonna lose. Opponent. Tanking. Opponent. Well, let's deputy. This does give us a pseudo answer. Opponent. In the tank. Yeah, I guess we gotta take Wilderness Reclamation. Both of their cards are a problem, but opponent. Chemister's Insight. Draws some cards. Sure. And Radical Idea. So they're going to be able to flip this amulet next turn, most likely. Go attacking with Petitioners. But at least they're not doubling their mana at the moment. That is something. Opponent. Flipped Amulet's pretty bad for us too, though. Steam Vents. Untapped. And Chemister's Insight. So Amulet can flip at any time. And we can't stop it. Radical Idea. Flips Amulet. Okay. That's bad news. Doubles up Shock. Alright. And yeah, that does it. They get back their Wilderness Reclamation. They have Primal Wellspring. There's no coming back. So Unmoored Ego in, Absorb in, Invoke the Divine in, Ixalan's Binding in. Go down, Quasi-Duplicate. Go down, I think we have to go down like all of our walls. And maybe it's just all the Quasi-Duplicates. Maybe we're just, yeah, Petitioners. As persistent as possible, with as many answers as possible to our opponent's combos. That's our plan. We'll see if it works. Wilderness Reclamation is quite the magic card. Alright, we are on the play. And, alright. I mean, we got counters. And we got Petitioners. That's about what we can hope for in this matchup. So Hallowed Fountain tapped. Pass the turn. If we can keep Wilderness Reclamation and Primal Amulet off the battlefield, there's hope at least. Opponent. Island. And passes. Well, Watery Grave. Untapped. Persistent Petitioner. Pass the turn. Opponent. Sulfur Falls. Lava Coil. Well, there goes Petitioner number 1. Well, play Petitioner. Hallowed Fountain. Pass the turn. Opponent. Lava Coil. Well, we're not doing much as far as keeping Petitioners around. Hallowed Fountain untapped. Petitioner. Pass the turn. So we found 4, but 2 are dead. Opponent. Finds our green mana. Untapped. Growth Spiral. Do they draw another land? They do not. Opponent passes. Well, Hallowed Fountain. Untapped. Pass the turn. Yeah, I think we're going to start milling rather than attacking. Opponent. Growth Spiral. Alright. Does find a land. And passes. Well, mill our opponent. Untap. Ixalan's Binding. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent. Murmuring Mystic. Yeah, I guess we better counter that. Counter Mystic. Mill some cards. Mill our opponent. Oh boy, they had a Nib Mizzet too. Mill our opponent. Untap. Drown Catacombs. Pass the turn. Opponent's down to 38 cards. We're putting up a fight. Ish. Opponent untaps. Combat. What do they got? Chemist's Insight. That resolves. Island. Opponent's passing. Well, mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Untap. Glacial Fortress. Pass the turn. Well, we're hitting our lands. That's something. Alright. Opponent. Untaps. This is the slow mill plan. Opponent. Wilderness Reclamation. Well, I mean, we must try to counter. Opponent has a counter. Okay. Well, that might do it. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Yup. Well, now our opponent gets to double their mana. We tried. Opponent passes. Untaps. Yup. We draw more. Man, we have flooded out. That's for sure. Well, I mean, Ixalan's Binding. Nothing, please. Opponent. Chemist's Insight. Looking for more counters. Alright. Well, Wilderness Reclamation, at least for now. Down. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Land. And Amulet. Okay. That's also bad. Radical Idea. Draws a card. Opponent, pass it. Well, mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Untap. Play Petitioners. Getting the fourth one is so hard. Pass the turn. Now the Amulet's going to flip, though, which is scary. We fought a really good fight. I have the feeling we're going to come up just short, but we have fought a very good fight against this deck. Land for our opponent. Oh, dear. That's a lot of mana. Niv Mizzet. Okay. That's also bad. Has a Lava Coil. Ugh. We just cannot get... We could just not get 4 Petitioners. It is just not a thing. Mill our opponent. Yeah, opponent gets to draw. Gets to ping. Pings a Petitioner. We had to spend our counters to not die, which means we don't have counters to protect our Petitioners. Mill our opponent. Well, we got to draw an answer to Niv Mizzet this turn. Drown Secrets. Oh, would have been so sweet earlier. Play Drown Secrets. Now I expect we just get combo killed here. Pass the turn. So we can mill our opponent down to 18. Niv Mizzet is not a May. Radical Idea. Draws a card. Primal Amulet. Niv Mizzet. Draws a card. Pings our face. Yeah, our opponent does not have to cast many spells to kill us, especially with this Primal Amulet. Wow, we were close! If we could have got 4 Petitioners for just 1 turn of milling, I think that would have won the game, but opponent had lots of Lava Coils. We had 4 in the early game, but our opponent was able to just Lava Coil in their opening hand, and we never could get 4 on the battlefield. Opponent. Combat. Attacks. Yeah. Down to 6. Sure. And then I expect our opponent can burn us out from here. They should be able to. Their deck is just all spells. Land. Well, I guess they're going to wait to burn us out. Let's mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. What could we draw? Is there anything? Opponent. Yep. Okay. It's a land. And we're dead. Ugh! Wow, Petitioners! We fought the good fight, and we milled some cards. That's something. That's something for Petitioners. Alright. Sweet. Alright. Against the odds time, we are playing some Persistent Petitioners. in Standard. And, I mean, this hand looks pretty reasonable. We got a lot of mill. Got a lot of mill. See what our opponent's up to. Another Petitioner. Well, Hallowed Fountain tapped. Pass the turn. Ooh. Grixis? Alright. I don't know how this is going to go. Well, Hallowed Fountain, untapped. Run out a Drown Secrets. Pass the turn. Let the great milling begin. Found it. Treasure map, okay. I appreciate the slowness of the treasure map. Ooh. Well, let's Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Godless Shrine, tapped. Pass the turn. One of the sneaky upsides of Petitioner is it is really good at messing with treasure map scries. To the bottom. Opponent. Oh boy. Missing their land drop? Oh boy. Okay. Well, play Glacial Fortress. Quasi-duplicate Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Yes. Yes, get those lands out of here. Pass the turn. Opponent. I expect they're going to upkeep Scry. If they leave it on top, we mill it. Opponent. Top. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Mill that land. Opponent. Oh! Opponent got one anyway. Alright. Alright. Boo. Boo and hiss. Opponent passes. Well, play Petitioner. Mill our opponent. And play Petitioner. Also mill our opponent. Oh, they have a Syncopate? Oh, no. Whoa, opponent. Oh, living the dream. Well, now they could potentially flip treasure map and ruin everything. Pass the turn. Opponent still got 40 cards in their deck. I mean, if they have a sweeper, it's pretty bad. Opponent. Yup. Flips treasure map. Gotta get that sweet mana. Treasures achieved. Watery Grave. Untapped. Oh, they do have a sweeper. Opponent. Well, play Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Oh, we were so close. Play Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. What horrible big thing can they cast? Opponent. Eldest Reborn. Well, that does kill a Petitioner. Yup. Opponent. Passing. We wouldn't mind a land here. That would probably be our best draw. Alright, Watery Grave, untapped. Wall of Lost Thoughts. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. And then quasi-duplicate the wall. Mill our opponent. Copy. Mill our opponent. Alright. I mean, opponent's down to 22. We might as well get him a Petitioner. Hit our opponent. Eldest Reborn. The problem is Eldest Reborn's going to get back this Niv Mizzet in a couple of turns, and we don't have a clean answer for that. And that might be enough to beat us. Oh, that Ritualist opponent. Passing. Yeah, Eldest Niv Mizzet is good. Opponent tapping, untapping, passing. Well, quasi-duplicate a wall. Or attempt to. Mill our opponent. Opponent has Sinister Sabotage. Leaves a card on top. Well, we will mill it. I don't think we get there. This Niv Mizzet off Eldest Reborn is going to ruin our day. Yep. Niv Mizzet for free. Oh, we were so close. Opponent. Bedevil. Kills our stuff. Draws a card. Okay. 16 cards. Opponent. Passing. Well, I mean, same plan. Quasi-duplicate our wall. Discard a land. Mill our opponent. Opponent draws a card. Pings us. Down to 13. Resolves. Down to 9. Ugh. Oh, no. We're so close, but we're so far. Opponent. I mean, this was through a Ritual of Zut. If we could have gotten in one mill for 12, before we lost our board, we would have had it. Vote it. Nimizit gets in. Down to 8. And treasure map passes. We draw land. All right. And that does us in. Whoa. Whoa! We were so close, but then we drew 3 lands in a row, and there was no returning from the 3 lands in a row. All right, opponent's playing Grixis Dragons. Unfortunately, some of them are uncounterable. So, Unbreakable Formation in. Slaughter the Strong, Ixalan's Binding in. Go down some Quasi-Duplicates. And I guess a couple of walls. Wall is... Alright. Alright, come on, Petitioners. These control matchups, it's so hard to get 4 on the battlefield and have them stick. That is a big challenge. Alright, we are on the play. Alright, well, I mean, Drown Secrets are good. Watery Grave, go. We wouldn't mind drawing a land in our first 2 turns. Blood Crypt tapped. Glacial Fortress. And Drown Secrets. Pass the turn. Island for our opponent. Treasure map. Alright. And passes. Well, Drown Catacombs. Play Drown Secrets. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. Now milling 4 every blue spell is pretty sweet. Thought Eraser. Alright, opponent's got options-ish. Takes a counter. Leaves a card on top. And passes. Well, let's just Deputy. Double mill. Get rid of the treasure map. Pass the turn. Opponent. Oh, we milled him into a land. That's unfortunate. Opponent duresses, takes our counter. Yup. Well, let's see what happens. Opponent passes. I'll play Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. I guess we can attack? Sure. Alright, opponent, what do you got? Hopefully it's not land that Kobolas. Land. Boy. Oh boy. Oh dear. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, Petitioner. Mill. Our opponent went land, which is not good. Pass the turn. Dragon Skull Summit. Land. Ugh. We have milled our opponent right directly into what they needed. Opponent. Get same one to Kobolas. Yup. Down to 16. Well, mill our opponent. Untap. Petitioner. Mill. Opponent. Alright, no sweepers. We're not going to attack. It doesn't matter. Opponent. Has something. Bedevils a Petitioner. Okay. Untaps. Gonna get in into Kobolas. Is there any way we can mill our opponent before... I guess we wait. Alright, opponent gets in. Down to 12. Is there any way we can mill our opponent before they win into Kobolas? Duress takes Unbreakable Formation. Well, mill our opponent. 26. Untap. Drown Secrets. Mill. 22. Pass the turn. I don't know if we can beat this Nicol Bolas flip. That's our main problem. Or Nicol Bolas attack, really. Chemist's Insight. Opponent draws a couple cards. Down to 20. Watery Grave. Tapped. Opponent gets in. Down to 8. Yup. Well, mill our opponent. Untap. Petitioners. Triple mill our opponent. Down to 12. Oh, we're so close. Oh my god. Oh, we're going to end up 1 turn short. 1 turn. Pass the turn. Opponent. Untaps. Land. This means Nicol Bolas can flip. Gets in. Down to 4. Alright, opponent. What do you got? Opponent passes. Well, mill our opponent. Alright, if we draw and resolve a wall, we win. That's exactly 10 cards. Island. Oh. We were so close. Oh, my Lord Almighty. Oh, petitioners. Someday we'll get them. I promise. Well, that is the problem with mill, is you don't do anything until you do everything. And we milled a lot of cards in both of those games, but we were like a turn short both games, and all of our work goes for nothing until our opponent's library hits 0. Alright. Well, next. Alright. Against the odds time, we are petitioning persistently. It's standard. Persistent Petitioners, and this hand's fine. We got petitioners. We're on the draw, so we should hit land number 3. I mean, in theory, with these quasi-duplicates, we theoretically have 4+ petitioners. See what our opponent's up to, but maybe we can just turbo them out. Also, W detention's not bad. Opponent. On the play. Ground Catacombs. Alright. Control, perhaps. Well, Watery Grave tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Hallowed Fountain. Alright. Looks like Esper. Esper something. Tapping. Untapping. Tapping. Untapping. Untapping. Thought Eraser. Alright. Well, I guess our opponent's kind of got options. Opponent takes Deputy of Detention. Leaves a card on top. Yep. And passes. Well, Glacial Fortress and Petitioner, part 1. Pass the turn. Opponent, Isolated Chapel. Dovin. Alright. Well, not the biggest fan of Dovin here, making dorks. Well, play Glacial Fortress. Attack Dovin. We'd like to start milling, but I think this is more important. Hit Dovin to 1. Quasi-duplicate Petitioner. Pass the turn. Opponent. Hallowed Fountain tapped. I mean, maybe we can just keep Dovin in check with 1/3s. Wow, cashes in Dovin. They must have another one. Opponent. Thops in. Yup, down to 19. Passes. Oh, play an island. Play a petitioner. Opponent has a counter. Well, play a petitioner. Oh, so close. So close to 4. Get in. Opponent's only got 2 cards in hand. Hope for no, like, sweepers-ish. Opponent. Also, Teferi is pretty annoying. Discovery. Oh, man. Okay. Removal does blow out our plan. 2 on top. Hero? Okay. Oh, it's happening. We can quasi-duplicate, and then we'll have 4 petitioners. Opponent gets in. Sure. Passes. Well, quasi-duplicate. And they left a card on top, so let's mill them. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent untaps. This might be happening. Opponent. Oh boy, it's working. It's kind of working. Combat can attack, sure. Gets in, hits us, yeah. Down to 13. Well, let's petitioner. Opponent counters, makes a dork. Yup. Well, play our wall. Mill our opponent. 32. Pass the turn. Opponent. I mean, we have good defense. We can block on the ground for a while. Combat. Attacks. Well, block here. Block here. Warrant. Well, mill our opponent. Down to 19. Opponent gets a 1/1. Passes. Well, replay petitioner. Pass the turn. Oh, we are so close. Opponent needs a wrath like this turn. Opponent. Oh boy. I don't know how this is working, but this is working. Combat. Attacks. Well, block here. Take 4. Down to 7. Opponent needs a sweeper. Okay. Well, Milieu. We got it! Consume doesn't do it! Opponent was not prepared for the persistence of the petitioners. Milia, down to 6. Sure, we sacrifice a petitioner, but quasi-duplicate, petitioner, discard Hallowed Fountain, Milieu, and opponent scopes it up! Who? Taking down Esper Hero! Whoa! Well, the persistence paid off. It really paid off. All right. That was somehow very impressive for our deck. Okay. Well, opponent's playing Esper Hero. Let's bring in the Immortal Sun. Bring in the 2 Absorbs. We probably got to go down a couple quasi-duplicates because of instant speed removal. Ixalan's Binding also seems reasonable if we can find room. Unbreakable Formation, maybe? How do we fit all this in? I guess we have to cut a couple petitioners. And let's go down to 1 quasi-duplicate. Alright, try it like that. Well, we took out game 1, which is the most important thing. Ugh, Zero Lander. That's not gonna work. Alright, we'll try this. Not an insane hand, but it's fine. Drowned Catacombs to the bottom. Alright, opponent. What do you got? Hallowed Fountain tapped. Watery Grave. Tapped. Pass the turn. Drowned Catacombs. And Thought Eraser. Alright, opponent's got options. We have 0 petitioners at the moment. Opponent takes the Absorb. Mills the Plains. And passes. Play Glacial Fortress. Run out Wall. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. Opponent. Isolated Chapel. And Duvin, the Grand Arbiter. Makes a thop. Alright, Glacial Fortress and... Alright, Deputy. Yeah, I guess we gotta get Dovin. Unfortunately. This opens us up to removal, but... Opponent. Watery Grave. Untapped. Gets in with the Thopter, sure. Down to 19. And there's the Wrath. Gets back Dovin. Makes a Thopter. Well, alright. Stay the course. Deputy of Detention. If our opponent can untap and play like a Teferi, we're probably just done. Play Watery Grave. Pass the turn. Opponent. Thought Eraser. Alright. Wall or Petitioners. Could use one of our counters. Takes Petitioner. Watery Grave. Come on, counter. Counter would be super sweet. Gets in with the Thopter. Down to 18. Opponent passes. Well, play Wall. Mill our opponent. Play Petitioner. Get in with Deputy. Hit our opponent and hope for the best. Hope for no sweepers, no Teferis. Opponent. Combat. Getting in. Oh, what we would give for a counter. Down to 17. Oh, dear. Mortify gets back Dovin. That's an issue. Makes a Thopter. We untap. Well, okay. Ixalan's Binding. Get rid of Dovin. Get in with Petitioner. Well, that's a problem dealt with. Pass the turn. Whiff. Nothing good. Godless Shrine. Tapped. Opponent. Get in with the Thops. Yep. We might just lose to Thopters. Glacial Fortress. Well, pass the turn. We can start milling. Ugh, these Thopters, though. We're going to need our other Deputy. Opponent. Combat. Attacks. Yup. Down to 13. Opponent has a Deputy. Hits Ixalan's Binding. Ugh. Gets back Dovin. Yeah, that's a lot of Thopters. Mill our opponent. Opponent passes. Well, play Petitioner. I'm not sure we can beat these Thopters. Opponent passes. Dovin's been pretty impressive this game. Opponent untaps. Picks up. Yeah. Ooh, Thops getting in. Sure. Down to 10. Glacial Fortress. Well, mill our opponent. Untap. Land. Land's not what we needed. Pass the turn. Opponent. Thought Eraser. Sees our nothingness. Yeah, this has been the Dovin game. And Dovin gets to ultimate next turn, and then they find whatever they want, unfortunately. Ticks up. Yeah, this draw 3 is going to do us in. Thopters, Dovin up to 1,000,000. I guess we could draw... We need to draw exactly our Immortal Sun. Exactly this turn. I think that's our only... It might be our only out. Well, mill. Untap. Petitioner. Yeah, well, play Petitioner. Unfortunately, this isn't gonna be enough. Untaps. Dovin Ultimate just does us in. We put up a fight, but Dovin Ultimate just too good. Too good. Opponent. Dovin. Yup. Well, this is like that, yeah. 3 of the top 10 is pretty much just like triple demonic tutor almost. Also, Deputy Detention, pretty good against the Persistent Petitioner plan. Opponent. Unmoored Ego. Well, that's not as effective as our opponent thinks. We probably should have conceded, though, so our opponent couldn't see our deck. Like, they get to take 4 Persistent Petitioners, but that's not just game over. Opponent getting to see our deck is bad for us. I'm expecting they're just, like, looking at our deck, and then they're going to sweep the board, and then they're going to win. Tapping, untapping, or they found another deputy, something like that. Combat. Gets in. Sure. Down to 4. Well, mill our opponent. Untap. Oh my goodness. We drew it, but too late. I'm sure they have a counter now anyway. Immortal Sun? Opponent. Yep. Alright. There's a counter, and we scoop it up. Okay. Rough skis. Yeah, I guess we gotta keep it like this. Run it back. We're on the play, which is nice. Alright, we get to play first. Well, we got petitioners. Many petitioners. Island Goo. Well, we'll see. I mean, if our opponent just has nothing, maybe. Watery Grave, tapped. Opponent passes. Well, Glacial Fortress. Petitioner 1. Pass the turn. Isolated Chapel. Hero of Precinct 1. Opponent passes. Well, played around Catacombs. Petitioners 2. Pass the turn. Opponent. Glacial Fortress. Deputy of Detention. Alright, well. Mill our opponent. Yeah, Deputy's kind of really good against what we're doing. There goes all of our petitioners for the time being. Opponent. Gets in. Yup. Well, unfortunately, we need to deputy our opponent's deputy to get back our petitioners. Godless Shrine. Well, let's hope that nothing goes horribly wrong and we can untap with a counter spell. Opponent. Hallowed Fountain. Tapped. Yup. Well, something went horribly wrong. So now we're back to having nothing. And our opponent has many somethings. Opponent gets in, hits us. Yeah. Down to 15. Well, play the land. Play petitioner. Pass the turn. Opponent. Land. And Thought Eraser. Well, I mean, we might as well attempt to counter. We're not doing anything else. They're going to take it anyway. Thought Collapse. Mill our opponent. Gets a 1-1. Goes to combat. Attacks. Well, we block a token. Take our beats. Down to 11. Play petitioner. Play a wall. Mill our opponent. They're down to 40. If we could draw... Oh, we milled a bunch of really bad cards. If we can draw a deputy to get rid of their deputy, then we get back 4 petitioners right away. Discovery makes a dork. Yep. 2 cards on top. Passes. Well, mill one of the cards they left on top. Untap. Play petitioner. Pass the turn. I mean, I guess having stuff under this deputy gives us a weird bit of protection from a wrath. Uh-oh. Hallowed Fountain untapped. Dovin makes a dork. So they're leaving up a counter by the looks. Opponent. No attacks. Well, mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Untap. Land. Well, pass the turn. This is going to go like last game, where our opponent's going to be able to ultimate Dovin and draw all the answers they need. Opponent goes to combat. Gets in with the Thopter, sure. Down to 10. Oh no, something else. Thought Eraser. Makes a dork. Well, we're holding a land. Opponent leaves a card on top that we're going to mill. They did not even activate Dovin for some reason. Oh, mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Mill our opponent. Untap. Play Drown Secrets. Opponent. There's the counter. Makes a dork. Boy, we're getting pretty close to just being dead. Hallowed Fountain, pass the turn. We're going to need to draw Deputy Detention to sweep these tokens, at least temporarily. Opponent. Just haven't been able to get Petitioner number 4. We've been able to get 3, but number 4 has eluded us. Opponent, huge attack. Well, alright. Block, 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 and block. Take a ton. I'm expecting this to not work, but we gotta try. This is our best bet. Alright, well, I mean, we got our petitioners. I don't think this is going to be quite enough. Our opponent probably has a sweeper, so I don't even know. I mean, we get to mill a lot. Jeez, this is actually going to be close. So Dovin up to 10. Opponent. They have another deputy, maybe? Kaya's Wrath. All right, so we mill our opponent. So now we see our opponent's plan. Get us to 3. Have a big Dovin. Well, we get the Petitioner activation. And we have our opponent low, down to 16. But they have this Dovin. And we have nothing. Godless Shrine. Tapped. Passes. Well, pass the turn. Absorb would have been good in the past. Opponent. Ultimate Dovin. I mean, I guess the only tiny bit of good news is we've milled a lot of cards. We got close. We got close. Our opponent's got a pretty powerful deck. And we managed to win a game. And we have our opponent down to 12 cards. But I'm assuming that's where it ends. Seraph of the Scales. Well, I mean, we got to try to absorb. Ugh. Opponent has the counter. And now we're dead. Well, we did a lot of milling. Petitioners, and we scoop it up. Well, I gotta say, we put up a fight. Petitioners, that might be the best we can hope for, is just like putting up a good fight against decks. Winning some games here and there. Match win, that might be a pipe dream, we'll see. We'll see. But we did, I mean, we won a game, and then we had our opponent down to what, 12 cards? Where that's like one counter spell being drawn to counter our wrath, one petitioner a little bit earlier, so we were close. We were close with petitioners. All right, against the odds time, we are persistently petitioning in standard. And I mean, this hand's reasonable. We got a Drown Secrets, we got a petitioners. Actually, multiple petitioners, thanks to Quasi-Duplicate, so maybe Fanatical Firebrand for our opponent. Well, this will be interesting. Opponent's about as aggro as it gets. Let's Drown Catacombs, and I think we just have to Drown Secrets. Pass the turn. Gotta get the mill going. Next turn we can Petitioner 1. That's a Steamkin. Opponent. Getting in for 1. Yep. Down to 18. Play an island and get down Petitioners. Mill our opponent. Okay. This deck does have a lot of ways to potentially kill Petitioners. Opponent. Mountain. And Lightning Strikes Petitioner. Grows the Steamkin. Opponent. Gets it. Down to 15. And Skewer the Critics. Down to 12. That's a big old Steamkin. Well, played around Catacombs. Play Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Play Petitioner. Mill our opponent. All right, down to 44. I mean, we're making headway. Sort of, kind of, ish. Opponent. Oh dear. 3 mana. The Steamkin's an issue. It's getting pretty big. Opponent. Attacks. Well, I mean, we got to take it, unfortunately. Down to 9. It feels like they have a Skewer the Critics, and they were thinking about going pre-combat, and decided we weren't going to block. Opponent. Tapping, untapping. Passing. Interesting. What do we do about the Steamkin? There's not a whole lot. I mean, I think we gotta pass. I think our opponent has risk factor. Yep, grows the Steamkin. Well, we need to Thought Collapse. Mill for 4. Okay. Pass the turn. I mean, we're kind of putting up a fight. Opponent. Removes the counters. Risk factor. Oh, yeah, I guess we got to take the damage. We're down to 5. Actually, 4. Opponent. Combat. Attacks. Well, unfortunately, we got to block. Fanatical Firebrand. Grows the Steamkin. Shoots our face. Are we just dead? Looks like we're just dead. Shoots our face. And, alright. Well, mill you. Alright, so we got him down to 36 cards. That's a thing. That's something. Okay, opponent's playing Burn. So we get a couple absorbs. Probably going to go down these Thought Collapses. Against Burn, I think we're better off doing that. Bring in a Shield Mare. We have 20 Petitioners. Alright, let's go down a Quasi-Duplicate for a Settle the Wreckage. And run it like that. We get to play first. Hell, okay. I mean, we got Petitioners, we got a Deputy, so we got a bit of removal. Hallowed Fountain, tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent, Mountain, and Lava Runner. Yup. More lands. Well, play Glacial Fortress, play Persistent Petitioners. Part 1. Pass the turn. Opponent kills our Petitioner. Oh dear. Opponent's got the all action hand. Oh boy. Well, play Petitioner. Watery Grave. Tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent. Combat. Gets it. Well, yeah, let's take it. They probably, I don't even know. If we block, we lose it to shock. If we don't block, they get to light up the stage to find lands. Or they just Skewer the Critic our face. That also works. Well, play Glacial Fortress. Play Drown Secrets. Play Persistent Petitioners. Mill our opponent. And pass the turn. I mean, we're sort of getting close-ish to there. Opponent. Mountain. Combat. Attacks. Well, alright. Oh, we're gonna... Alright. Block. We got a block, unfortunately. Opponent. Lightning strikes. Well, we lose a petitioner, but we draw a petitioner. We play a petitioner. Mill our opponent. I mean, I think we're going to make it farther than last game in terms of number of cards milled. Play Godless Ride, pass the turn. Opponent. Mountain. Ugh, Steamkin. Well, Deputy of Detention is a good answer for that. Opponent passes. Well, mill you. Unfortunately, we're going to mill their risk factors eventually. Ooh, okay. Well, play Wall of Lost Thoughts. Mill for 6. Yup, mill again. Okay, we've already gotten past last game, mill-wise. We're making progress. And then, yeah, I mean, Deputy. Mill you. And Wall is a good blocker. And we're still at 15. The only bad news is we are going to mill all the risk factors. Get rid of Steamkin. Pass the turn. All right. The defense is up. Opponent shocks our face down to 13. We could use Quasi-Duplicate or more Petitioners. Shocks our face down to 11. Skewer the Critics. Deputy gets back Steamkin. Plays a Mountain. Only one card in hand, though. Opponent passes. Come on, deck. That's a Quasi-Duplicate. Well, what do we duplicate is the question. Oh, we might have to go for the Wall, because if we go for Petitioners, we get blown out by removal. Yeah, let's go for the Wall. So, Quasi-Duplicate the Wall. Mill our opponent. This also gives us protection from drawing a land, since we have a Quasi-Duplicate in our graveyard. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. We got blockers. We can start going on the slow mill plan with these Petitioners for now. This might be working. Opponent's down to 27, and we have up a pretty good wall of defense. Chain Whirler. Grows Steamkin. Okay. Doesn't really kill anything, though. Opponent. Combat. No attacks. Well, mill you. Mill you. Are we doing it? Untap. Well, play Petitioners. Mill our opponent. Down to 23. I think we might be meeting burn. I think it might be happening. Pass the turn. Opponent. We haven't even drawn any of our life gain cards or anything. Combat. No attacks. Mill you. Mill you. Down to 20. Untap. Glacial Fortress. Oh, we really want a Petitioner. I think we got to go Wall again, though, unfortunately. So awkward, but Quasi-Duplicate, copy the Wall, mill our opponent. Petitioner just gets blown out by, like, every card in our opponent's deck. They have so many Lightning Bolt type effects. Opponent's down to 14. Pass the turn. Untaps. 13. Combat. No attacks. 12. 11. Any non-land is a pretty good draw. Well, Drowned Secrets, I guess that's fine. 9. Pass the turn. Oh, man. What do you got, opponent? Lightning Strike. Yup. Down to 7. Opponent. Shock. Down to 5. One card. Oh, man. Are we going to end up just short? Opponent. Combat. No attacks. Land. Well, mill you. Mill you. I think we're a blue spell away from winning. Mill you. Untap. Petitioner. Okay. Play Petitioner. Double Drought Secrets. I think we just milled out burn. Petitioners. 3 cards. 1 card. There's not a 5 damage burn spell in the format. Opponent. Risk factor. Well, you know what we do here. Mill you. Mill you. And then opponent, if you would like to draw 3 with 1 card in your deck, we're down. We're super down. Yes! Yes, we got it with their own risk factor. Huh! Okay. I do not know how or why that worked, but it worked. Okay. Run it back. We beat burn. Petitioners. Oh, lordy. Lordy, lordy, lordy. I don't. Maybe just playing a bunch of walls is good. I think we played that right. It's sad we couldn't copy our petitioner and get all 4 on the battlefield, but alright. Double drown secrets is a lot of mill. Gonna need a wall or like a quasi-duplicate, but opponent, mountain. Fanatical Firebrand. We are on the draw, which makes this a little harder. Opponent gets in. Well, Watery Grave tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent. Fanatical Firebrand hits us. Mountain. Ugh, there's a Steamkin. Well, played round Catacombs. Played round Secrets. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Mountain. Risk Factor. We will take the damage for now, unfortunately. Opponent down to 11. Ooh, not good. This Steamkin is so good. Well, let's play Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Hollowed Fountain tapped. Pass the turn. We're going to need to find some life gain at some point. Opponent untaps. Lightning Strikes. Petitioner. Grows the Steamkin. Oh no. And a lot. Oh my god almighty. Alright, well, I guess this is more how I expected it to go against Burn. Opponent gets in, hits us. 4. With a risk factor in the graveyard. Well, played around Catacombs. Played round Secrets. Mill our opponent. Play Petitioner. But we're dead. We're super, super dead. I mean, yeah. Burn on the play. That's a rough one. That is a rough one. Alright, pass the turn. I mean, yeah, I guess we're just like literally dead. Risk factor. Alright, yep. Well, we got a game off Burn, which is pretty impressive. I mean, we're playing Petitioners, taking a game. That's something to be very proud of with the Persistent Petitioner deck. Sweet. Alright, against the odds time, we are petitioning in standard Persistent Petitioners. Seeing if we can mill our opponent out. Hollowed Fountain go. I mean, this hand's not the worst. We have 2 drown secrets. Temur Guildgate. Well, Watery Grave untapped. Step 1, drown secrets. Pass the turn. Opponent. Watery Grave untapped. And passes. Land? No. Well, step 2. Yeah, drown secrets. If they got a counter, they got a counter. Opponent does have a counter. Alright, pass the turn. Ugh, land there would have been helpful. Opponent plays it. Oh, it's Esper control? Yikes. Well, let's petition. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. Okay, so against control, the main challenge is sweepers are super good. Also, they probably have Mortify for drown secrets in their deck. Opponent. Thought Eraser. Well, our hand is pretty redundant. Whoa. Whoa! They've had enough? I guess they just can't beat it. Okay. Huh. Okay. Well. That was good. That was very good. Apparently our... They're out of here. We gotta win. We gotta win. That counts. That counts. It counts. If we don't win another match with Persistent Petitioners, this one counts. Oh, goodness. The salt flows. Huh, sweet. All right. Against the odds time, we are petitioning in standard, and this hand technically has 5 Persistent Petitioners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, what more can we ask for? We're playing a Persistent Petitioner deck. It's the dream. Living the dream. Found it. See what they're up to. Gruel Guildgate. Ugh. Gate Tribal. Oh boy. Alright. The Gate deck. A. Opponent passes. Well, Hollowed Fountain. Go. Opponent. Ugh. So the problem with the Gate deck is they can easily sweep our board. Opponent passes. Well, Glacial Fortress and Persistent Petitioners. Pass the turn. So I guess we mostly gotta hope they don't have sweepers. Opponent. Plaza, gain some life. Sure. And passing? Okay. Opponent passes. Well, let's just play Petitioners. They're persistent. I'll give them that. Pass the turn. Well, I mean, we'll see what our opponent has. Gates Ablaze is the nightmare. Plaza. Yup. Up to 26. And passing? Alright, well, mill our opponent. Untap. Watery Grave. Untapped. Petitioner. And Petitioner. Pass the turn. Oh, man. Please let us draw a counter or our opponent not draw a sweeper. We have 4, and we got quasi-duplicates if one gets killed. A sweeper is the nightmare. Oh, that's a gate. Oh, dear. That's Gates Ablaze gates. 1, 2, 3. Come on, no Gates Ablaze. Opponent. Passing. Okay. Well, we get to mill. They did not have Gates Ablaze. Mill our opponent for 12. Oh, come on, counter. Untap. Petitioner. I guess we just pass. Opponent. We don't really want to run more Petitioners into Gates Ablaze. That's the way we lose. Guildgate. Do they have it? Whew. Alright, Gatebreaker Ram. That is not a Gates Ablaze. We're staying alive. Opponent. Passing. Well, let's mill. Opponent down to 24 cards. 2 Gates Ablaze milled. Untap. Now, let's play the wall. Mill our opponent. 20 cards. Ooh, there's a Gate Colossus that's going to return. Pass the turn. Oh, this is going to be so close. If our opponent doesn't draw Gates Ablaze, this can work. Opponent. We've milled 2. Untaps. Steam Vents. Untapped. Gate Colossus. Okay. That's not Gates Ablaze. Opponent. Gonna go attacking. We'll take it. Sure. 6. Down to 12. Oh, come on. No Gates Ablaze. No Gates Ablaze. Oh, my goodness. All right. Petitioners. Mill you. Untap. Mill you. 0 cards. Did we get it? Oh, Godless Shrine. Pass the turn. Whoa! We got there. We got there. They didn't find the sweeper. Oh, taking down gates. That worked. That worked. Oh, boy. I don't know how that worked, but we will take it. Pass the turn. Opponent draws. And our persistence is paid off? I don't think there's anything. Why should they have like a random Gaia's blessing in their hand or something? Oh, Lord. Okay. Whew. Well, we survived against the gate deck. All right. Against gates. Unbreakable Formation in. I'm almost tempted to Unmoored Ego. They don't have that many payoffs. Like, if we can hit the specific gate payoffs, that goes a long ways. Also, Ixalan's Binding. I think we go down our walls. We'll just go on the Petitioner plan. Slaughter the Strong does get rid of their creatures. Invoke the Divine can also be pretty good. Let's go down a couple of deputies, a quasi-duplicate. Go up 2 Slaughter the Strongs. Alright, 1 more quasi-duplicate for Absorb. Try like that. We got a plan. We got a plan. If we can dodge the Gates Ablaze, life is good. Alright, so we're on the draw, and I mean, I think we keep this. Drown Secrets is nice. We don't really have removal, but Drown Secrets gives us a source of mill that doesn't care about Gates Ablaze. And we have our Petitioners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Could work. It could work. Simic Guildgate for our opponent. Alright, so let's just Hallowed Fountain tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent. Simic Guildgate. Is it Guildgate? Opponent passes. I think we just... 1, 2... Yeah, let's Drown Secrets. I think this is safest. A little bit slower with Petitioners, but more consistent with our milling. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Another gate. And passes. Well, Watery Grave tapped. Run out. Petitioner, number 1. Mill our opponent. Ooh, what is this? Thrash Threat. Now, I guess that's a bit more removal. Opponent. Plaza. Gaining some life. And... Alright. Root. Gonna get the ramp on. Yep. Get some gates. Opponent passing. We draw Petitioner. Alright, so I think our plan is quasi-duplicate Petitioner, mill our opponent, play an island, pass the turn, and see what our opponent's got. Next turn we can get to 4 Petitioners, potentially. Potential Petitioners. 4 potential Persistent Petitioners. Probably, potentially. Persistent Petitioners. Perhaps. Opponent. Lava Coil. Opponent. Well, mill you. I mean, I guess the good news is it's a Lava Coil and not a Gates Ablaze. So there goes a Petitioner. And... Alright, makes a 4/4. That's not the absolute end of the world. Opponent passes. Well, quasi-duplicate. Petitioner. Actually, no. Let's just play a Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Play a Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Still really gotta hope for no Gates Ablaze. There goes 1. Godless Shrine, untapped, pass the turn. Ooh, this is gonna be close. What do you got, opponent? Come on, no Gates Ablaze. No Gates Ablaze. Breeding Pool. Untapped. Goes to combat. Gets it. Yup. Down to 14. Ugh. Alright, there's the Gates Ablaze. Well, mill our opponent. There goes our board. Opponent. Another payoff. Guild Summit. Alright. Well, opponent drawing cards might not be the worst for us. Let's play a Persistent Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Well, we milled a Ram. Play a Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Pass the turn. Will our persistence pay off? Opponent's down to 32 cards. What do they have? There's still 2 Gates Ablaze somewhere. Guild Summit. Is our opponent going to draw a bunch of cards? Yeah, there's the card draw. Yup. Gate. Also worth mentioning, Guild Summit's not a May, so our opponent has to draw. Down to 26. Oh, lordy. We will see. Opponent passing. We might be getting there. We might get the persistent win. Opponent. Passes. Well, step 1. Quasi-duplicate a Petitioner. Discard Watery Grave. Mill our opponent. Step 2. Play a Petitioner. Mill our opponent. Yeah, let's mill him. Mill our opponent. 10 cards. We milled another Gates Ablaze. There's 1 left. 1 Gates Ablaze left. Well, this is it. Do they have the Gates Ablaze in hand? If they do, we're going to die. If they don't, we mill them out. 9 cards. What do you got, opponent? What do you got? Growth Spiral. Looking for that last card, down to 8. Looking for the last Gates Ablaze. Plaza of Harmony, gain some life, sure. Did they find it? Shimmer. Oh, they're going to find it. They're going to find it. That gets to see pretty much all the deck they have left. There's the last Gates Ablaze. Board is swept. Well, come on, deck. Any non-land is helpful. Anyone. Ooh, they have a Gate Colossus. Oh, no. Not like this. Opponent passes. Well, okay. Deputy of Detention. That mills our opponent, and it temporarily at least gets rid of this Gate Colossus. Mill our opponent. Get rid of Gate Colossus. Opponent has 5 cards. 5. Going down to 4. They can't really play Gates or they're going to mill out. Oh my goodness, this is so close. 4 cards. Opponent, what's in the hand? Breeding Pool. Untapped. And opponent passing. Come on, blue card. Come on, blue card. Land. Pass the turn. Oh, Lord Almighty. Opponent untaps 3 cards. Shimmer sees the rest of their deck. 2 cards. This means if we draw a blue card, we win. Any blue card that we can cast. Oh, 0 cards. That's not a May. It's not a May. We got him. Huh. Petitioners. Oh, my lord. Draws it. Draws it. 0 cards. And now we don't have to do anything. Oh, my goodness. Whoa. Our persistence is finally paid off. Oh. Oh, man. Well, we found out how to beat the Gate deck. You just gotta be persistent. Well, we're gonna play it, because why not? Petitioners. Yeah, we'll mill ourselves. Our opponent's out of cards. No! They have a card? How do they have a card? Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, that was a mistake. Didn't they have 0 cards? How do they have a card left? Why is this not game? Oh, no. I milled ourselves thinking we could hit quasi-duplicate. I thought they were on 0. If we lose because of this, opponent. Oh, that was a mistake. Gate Colossus. Oh, I think we're still good. Plaza of Harmony gains some life. Sure. Opponent. Passing. I'll play the land. Pass the turn. Opponent. Oh, we got there. Wow. All right. Persistent Petitioners, a match has been won. We have proved that you can do it. Take it down, Gates. Take it down, Gates. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Wow. Even through a sweeper. That was sort of oddly impressive for Persistent Petitioners. Wow. All right, we'll take it. Wow. Sweet. So what did we learn this week about Persistent Petitioners in Standard? And it was a rough one. It was a rough one. So discounting the 1 win where opponent scooped early after thought seizing our hand and seeing what we had, which I still maintain that should count. We're playing Persistent Petitioners, the early arena scoop. That should count. But technically, discounting that match, we played 5 matches. We won 1 of them. Good for a solid 20% match win percentage. A little bit better along the way. We did win a couple of additional games. We beat mono red once. So we ended up with, I think, 4 total wins out of 12 games. Again, discounting the early scoop game, which is a little bit better, like 33.3% game win percentage. But still, Petitioners was not especially competitive. And we ran into every problem that you could run into with a mill style deck. We had a lot of games where we were close. We got our opponent down to like 8 cards, 10 cards, 12 cards, to the point where if we could have gotten in 1 mill 12 activation with our Petitioners, we would have actually won the game. And that happened quite a bit. And that is one of the traditional problems with trying to mill your opponent out, is you just do nothing until you do everything. Until you actually get your opponent to 0, your deck is just doing kind of nothing along the way. So we had some frustratingly close losses. One of the challenges of Petitioners is you need a lot of them. With 20 Petitioners in our deck, that doesn't leave that much room for other stuff. And while we tried to do the best we could with some counter spells, some deputive detentions. It doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room in the deck for other stuff, and that's kind of the nature of cards like Persistent Petitioners. The funny thing about Petitioners in specific is it kind of doubles down on the mill problem. We were talking about how mill, you gotta get your opponent all the way to 0, or else all your milling work goes for naught. Petitioners are the same way. Like, until you get to 4 of them, they're not very good. Like, I guess they're okay on defense against certain decks. You can really slowly mill your opponent 1 card at a time for 1 mana, which is the least efficient mill rate in the world. But until you get to 4, they really don't do much of anything. So you kind of double down on the mill problem in a weird way. Not only do you suffer from mill needing to do everything before it does anything, petitioners are the same way. With 3 of them, you're not really doing anything. With 2 of them, you're not really doing anything. Once you get to 4 of them, then all of a sudden things go crazy, and you can kill your opponent super quickly. But decks play a lot of removal, and oddly, because the format is so prepared for aggro, with mono red being popular, Boros being popular, we pick up on a lot of fringe hate, where people are playing Ritual of Soots, people are playing Kaya's Wrath, people are playing all that type of stuff. So people, they aren't trying to really hate on Persistent Petitioners, but they die to the same removal that kills all the other cheap threats of the format. So we kind of run into some natural hate there. So I don't know, the deck is sweet, and it is possible to win with the meme every now and then, but it's not especially competitive. And like I said, because I know this will come for the comments, I tried so many different builds of Petitioners. I tried Arcane Adaptations. I had a Verity Circle build of Petitioners, looking to tap our opponent's stuff down. I tried playing all Petitioners, like literally just everything is a petitioner, nothing else in our deck. I tried playing many fewer petitioners, like a few petitioners, Arcane Adaptation, and kind of a normal deck. And while you can win that way, if you just build like a good Esper deck and play a few petitioners in Arcane Adaptation, most of the time you win with your other stuff. Like, you win by killing your opponent with your Lyras and Ravenous Chupacabras and Angel of Graces, and your petitioners are just kind of an afterthought. Speaking of Arcane Adaptation, this format is so good at killing enchantments, partly because of Wilderness Reclamation, but it's not all that practical to just have an enchantment that can win the game sit on the battlefield. So that's the other problem with the Arcane Adaptation plan, is a lot of decks are prepared to deal with an enchantment, which makes it even less likely that your like 8 Persistent Petitioner, bunch of good stuff Arcane Adaptation deck is actually ever going to win with Persistent Petitioners. So I don't know. I wish we could have had more success with it. We did persist, and our persistence did pay off, so maybe we're just like perfectly on flavor, and that's the idea of Persistent Petitioners. You just got to keep trying and trying and trying, and eventually you're going to get that game where everything is perfect and beautiful and works out, but it takes a lot of persistence to get there. So anyway, that's been our Against the Odds for this week. Persistent Petitioners for Standard. Thank you so much for watching. Oh yeah, don't forget to vote for next week's Ravnica Allegiance deck. Follow the Read More link down below to the article on the website. There's a straw poll there, a ton of sweet non-persistent options from Ravnica Allegiance to vote for. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed our persistence, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.